Breaking news at the Alert Center. Right. Omaha Police Department was called to a report of a shooting early this morning. And officers got to the scene just before 5 a.m. near 20th and Ohio Streets, that is in the North Omaha area. Well, police dispatch confirms that about 5:15 a.m., a shooting victim showed up at a local hospital. And First Alert 6 is unsure if these two incidents are connected, but we are working to learn more this morning. Alrighty, well, good morning and happy Friday to you. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is Elena Riley, and I bring you our top headlines here at the Alert Center every weekday. So let's head into more breaking news that we have. Well, one person is dead and another person is injured after a crash early this morning in the Millard area. This is shortly before 2 a.m. Police officers were called to the crash involving a motorcycle near 132nd Street and Industrial Road. While these initial reports from dispatch indicate the victim, who was taken to the hospital, had serious injuries. And more breaking news, one person is in the hospital after a crash in West Omaha happened late last night. And police responded to the crash near 114th Street and West Dodge Road at about 11:30 p.m. Well, First Alert 6 is told by dispatch that initial reports show the victim's injuries are not life-threatening. So that is the good news there. That is our three breaking stories we brought to you this morning in our newscast as well as online here as well. All right, next up, Douglas County Sheriff's deputies and U.S. Homeland Security served 9 warrants yesterday in South Omaha and Bellevue as part of a joint labor trafficking investigation. Well, the investigation centers on an employer alleged to have smuggled laborers into the community, and the employer is further accused of paying employees below minimum wage and forcing them to live in housing owned by the employer at a cost that is equal to their rate of pay. That's according to a news release from the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. DCSO also shared that 4 approximate locations where the warrants were served. They're stating that multiple locations in Bellevue were also included in the search and the arrest warrants served. That includes about 52nd and Gertrude Streets, 59th and Q Streets, 60th and M, and then let me check another one. 51st and L Streets as well. So those are the locations those warrants were served. And DCSO's SWAT team also served a federal search warrant near 157th and Lincoln that is related to an ongoing firearms investigation. That's according to the release. Well, in an open letter to Douglas County commissioners, Sheriff Aaron Hansen proposed using the county jail to house Homeland Security detainees. Hansen says that creating the contract with ICE could bring in $5.5 million to $6.5 million per 100 beds in the county revenue that could be used to fill DCSO's budget gaps, ease property tax burdens, and get reinvested back into the immigrant community. Well, we check here. This is the Glen Valley Foods immigration raid that happened back in June, which the sheriff cites in his letter that resulted in about 80 detainees, 63 of whom were transported to an ICE contracted facility in North Platte. That is more than 250 miles away from us. And Hansen said that establishing a similar facility locally would allow detainees to remain closer to their families and have better access to legal representation while reducing the need for hours-long travel for these court proceedings. But the League of United Latin American Citizens says it does not support any deal between Douglas County and ICE. My next headline is that State Attorney General Mike Hilgers said yesterday that he's filed a lawsuit against Omaha Public Power District over the plans at its North Omaha station. OPPD is set to retire 3 electric generation units at the station and convert 2 others from coal to natural gas. Hilgers calls these units critical. He claims the plan will drive up prices for consumers. Hilger says at the news conference, shutting down those units today undermines the two goals that legislature has given public power of Nebraska, which is affordability and reliability. Well, a spokesperson for OPPD said in an email to First Alert 6 that the utility could not comment on matters of pending litigation. And Governor Jim Pillen applauded the lawsuit filing in a news release last night. He says it represents a step towards his goal to preserve, protect, and expand coal infrastructure in our state. All right, last up this morning, Husker football will have its first true road game tomorrow, following 4 consecutive home games and a season opener at Arrowhead Stadium. Well, kickoff against Maryland is scheduled for 2:30 p.m. Central Time on the Big Ten Network. It is Nebraska's second ever trip to College Park. And today they're having a walkthrough day at a local high school in Maryland. That is what head coach Matt Rule says. So the team is busy as well today. They actually showed up yesterday, so a day early than usual. They are ready to go this weekend, I believe. And Nebraska's nation best secondary will face the most effective passing game it has seen to date. And Maryland is second in the Big Ten in completions. Only the Huskers have more. Awesome. Excited for that game. I know some of you are as well. Alrighty, we'll head to our website where I have all of these headlines for us. That is 6 things you need to know on Friday, October 10th, as you see here. So I bring this to you at about 6 a.m. to get you started with your day, get you your top headlines here, and then we go over them at about 8 a.m. as we are now. All right. Thank you very much for joining me. You can catch me back here at about 10:45 this morning where I bring you our top events happening in Omaha. So a lot of fun things going on. I know Junk Stop and a lot of other fun fall events. I know I'm ready for them. So please join me then and have a great start to your morning.